Thank you, Bill. That was great. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Orange County. We're so glad that you tuned in today. Before we get started, I'd like to affirm our vision and mission statements. Our vision statement, centered in divine love, we joyfully co-create a world that works for all. Our mission statement, to awaken, inspire, and transform lives. And before I go to announcements, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those that made this service possible. Bill on piano, Tom on audio, Waverly streaming, and John on camera. Reverend Allison is going to do our daily word and meditation today. And Reverend Arlene has a wonderful talk today, and she's going to talk about good and evil, heaven and hell. Ooh. So our announcements today, we have quite a few. First of all, next Sunday is going to be a great day. Yay, we're going to celebrate our reopening our doors again. So we will be practicing social distancing and masks. They will be required. And after the service, at 11 o'clock, we will be having fellowship outside and we will have pizza. Please bring your own drinks, and I suggest bringing a chair. So also, though, a reminder that at 2 o'clock a.m. on the 14th, we change our clocks forward 1 hour. So if you don't make the service, come for the fellowship. Bring your own chairs. Still unsure about coming back? Well, sit in your car and we will bring pizza to you. Smiles and a wave. And remember, we miss you as much as you miss us. Okay, our God is Creative project is the deadline has been extended to the end of March. Materials for the Post-its and index cards will be available before and after Sunday services on March the 14th, 21st, and 28th. The collage will be presented on Easter Sunday. So submit your God is in one of the following ways. You can mail your Post-its or index cards to Unity of Orange County, 23181 Verdugo Drive, Suite 103B in Laguna Hills, California, 92653 during the rest of this month. And then when the collage is all done and ready, it'll be awesome to see it on Easter Sunday. Today at 11 from 11 to 12:30, our spiritual discussion group based on the quest will be held today on Zoom. Remember, all of our Zoom classes have the same ID number, which is 818-8859-3747. We do have a new class starting, a metaphysical interpretation of the Bible, looking at an old book with new eyes. Class begins this Tuesday, March the 9th from 6 to 7 on Zoom, and the only book you will need is any edition of the Bible. This will be facilitated by Reverend Arlene. So this will be a great class to be taking. We have a new group starting. It's called the Unity Spirit Walking Group. So Spirit Walkers will meet up starting this Thursday the 25th from 9 to 11 a.m. The location will be Ferry Trail at Osos Creek in Mission Viejo. If you're longing to get moving again now that the sun is returning, and do you miss exploring nature and connecting with the oneness experienced outdoors? Do you miss spending time with your Unity community? Are you one who enjoys the journey at your own pace? Well then, the Unity Spirit Walkers is for you. Once a month on the third Thursday from 9 to 11, we will be meeting at different breathtaking scenic locations to walk together. These will be mild, low-impact walks and open to advanced walkers as well. So let's explore this beautiful area, grow closer in fellowship, health, and connection to our source. Please contact Holly Hopkins or Shanice Hardy for details and to sign up. So again, Spirit Walkers, first meetup will be Thursday, March the 25th from 9 to 11 a.m. Location, Ferry Trail at Osos Creek in Mission Viejo. After a day's walk, everything has twice its usual value. A quote by G.M. Trevelyan. All right. For a full listing of all of our upcoming activities, please go to our website, www.unityoforangecounty.org, and look at our calendar. All right, at this time, I'd like to invite Reverend Allison for the Daily Word.
Good morning. Daily Word for today, Sunday, March 7th, 2021, World Peace. Celebrating diversity and affirming unity, I am a presence of peace in the world. The road to world peace begins with my open-hearted acceptance of those who are different than me. Our world is vast and diverse, and its people come from a wide variety of cultures and histories. The more I learn about those who live different from me, the more I can appreciate their perspective and empathize with their struggles. When I make the decision to understand others, I discover that judgment fades in the light of compassion. Today, I sow peace through my acceptance and my understanding. Peace in the world grows as I join my brothers and sisters in celebrating the glory of human diversity and affirming our oneness in God. And the scripture today is Isaiah 2, chapter 4. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And now just take a moment and get ready for our meditation. Find a comfortable sitting space and plant your feet on the floor because we really need to be centered on the ground, centered with our earth. We need to feel that earth beneath us. And as we begin to take a few healing breaths, also begin to feel the chair or wherever you're sitting supporting you fully. The ground beneath your feet, the chair beneath you. You are fully supported in this moment, in this time. And now take a moment and visualize a healing light spreading out from the floor underneath your feet. It grows brighter and brighter, and you feel the warmth. And now feel that warmth and that light. Visualize it and feel it as it gently starts to come up from the floor and enter through your feet. They feel warm, protected, and whole. And now also, as it starts to move up your legs, just visualize that wonderful healing light. Set aside anything that you've been thinking about or anything that has brought you to this moment, and just know that light is there healing everything that is within you. And now it moves up further up your legs, past your knees, and up into your hips. So you see that light shining from your hips all the way down to the ground, just holding you in its warm embrace and healing anything that ails you. And as that beautiful, warm, healing light makes its way through your torso and up through your chest, let it release anything that you have, that you're holding there. Any anxiety, any stress, any pain or fear. Just allow that blanket of warmth to hug you. And now, even though the light remains on the floor and all the way up through your torso, it extends out through your arms and your hands and your fingers. And you can just feel it warming your body and healing everything that needs to be healed. Let it take your arms and wrap itself in a hug, knowing that it is safe, that you are receiving the warmth. And now let it move up through your neck and into your face, and finally into your headspace. So now your whole entire body is supported by the earth beneath you and surrounded by the love and healing light that has entered you through this moment. Know that in this moment there is only healing, there is only peace, there is only this eternal light. And finally, as we embrace our brothers and sisters and those who are different from us and those whose cultures may differ or vary, but those who are very much our brothers and sisters, for we are one in the Spirit, let that healing light just exit through the top of your head and begin to spread all around you. And then having a ripple effect as it goes throughout the world from one space to the next. And now take another healing deep breath and feel that warmth. Feel that hug from your Creator. And know that you are always connected in every way. I invite you to just remain in the silence for another moment. And then when you are ready, open your eyes and return to this moment.
Thank you, Bill. That was beautiful. Good morning, and welcome to Uni of Orange County. We're going to talk about something today. You know, people will always ask me who don't know anything about unity. They'll say, well, what does unity think about this? Or what does unity think about that? And one of the questions that's often asked is, what does unity think about heaven and hell? So, what do you think about heaven and hell? Do you ever think about heaven and hell? So, for years I was an atheist, and if someone had said to me, mention the word heaven or hell, as for some place you went after you died, I would go, there's no such thing as heaven and hell. There's no God. You live, you die. When you're dead, and that's it. You know, they bury you in the ground, your body decomposes, and that's all there is to it. And this whole idea of heaven and hell was actually something, it's really not a religious reason that we see that in normal Christianity. The early church was trying to control the masses. And so they came up with this heaven and hell. If you do what we say, and you're a good little Christian, you're going to go to heaven and life is going to be wonderful. But if you do what we don't want you to do, then you're going to hell. It wasn't really there for any kind of spiritual or religious reason. So there was a famous French priest by the name of Abbé Arthur Montguion, I guess that's how you pronounce it. And he was asked if he believed in hell. And this is what he said. He said, yes, because it's a dogma of the church, but I don't believe anyone is in it. So, in other words, well, I have to believe it because I'm part of the church, but nobody is in it. So where did this idea of hell come in? So actually, the whole idea of hell referred to a place in Jerusalem, south of Jerusalem, where refuge and garbage was dumped. And it was a terrible place. It stunk. It was smelly. It was hot. It was like the garbage of the garbage was dumped there. And even centuries before that, it was worse because they did idol worshiping and they did sacrifices and they used that area. So, and it was called Gehenna. And so when they thought of hell, it was really this place that was horrible. But you don't see Jesus talking about hell, and later on we're going to show he doesn't even talk about heaven as being someplace. But so we have these ideas of hell with the devil, you know, with the red outfit and the pitchfork, and you go to hell, and there's all kinds of flames and everything. And in movies, books, a lot of times they try and describe heaven and hell. So there's a movie with Robin Williams called What Dreams May Come. And it's kind of a depressing movie. But anyway, in the movie, Robin is happily married to this woman. They met when they were young. Their life is wonderful. They have 2 children, and she's an artist, and he's a child doctor, and everything is great. And one day, she has an art show, and she can't take her children to school, so their maid or nanny takes them, and there's a car crash, and the kids die. She becomes severely depressed. She winds up in an institution because she just can't handle the grief, which to me is a description of hell right there. Robin Williams tries to save her and realizes that he really can't. And just as he's ready to let go, she comes to and she comes out of the institution. In the meanwhile, not that long after that, he dies in a car crash trying to save somebody. And so now she's in this deep depression and she commits suicide. She's lost her children, she's lost her husband. And, we always think we have the biggest problems until you find someone that has bigger problems. So Robin Williams dies, he goes to heaven, and he finds out his wife has committed suicide and she goes to hell. And he decides he's going to try to go to hell and get her out of hell. And this is hell as shown in this movie, What Dreams May Come Of.
No, in hell, there's real danger of losing your mind. hell. I'd only want one person in the whole goddamn world by my side.
Hasn't been a really good day.
Come on, it's our private deck.
I never took more than 30% from any client.
This must be the place.
Hey, watch where you step at! Oh, sorry.
You are rude.
Anybody got a cure?
No, man.
I'm not an animal. Oh, sorry.
Son, welcome. Welcome, son.
Papa?
Son.
Papa?
You're Klaus. Welcome.
No.
Welcome.
You're not my dad. Sorry.
It's all right. They never come. Don't worry, it's only a matter of time.
So, one of the things this movie is about is the whole idea about the fact that reality is not anything out there. Reality is all, what is real is only what is in our mind. And according to the movie, people wind up in hell, not so much because what they've done. It's not so much that his wife has committed suicide that she winds up in hell, but she winds up in hell because she hasn't worked through the things she has to work through. So for me, this whole idea of a heaven and a hell just doesn't make any sense, because that means that there's some being somewhere or something that's deciding where we wind up. Heaven and hell, to me, is a state of mind that we have right here on earth. And many people can tell you there's been many times in their life that life was a living hell. And it is those living hells that are really what causes us more grief than worrying about someplace in the afterlife. So I'm in a 12-step program, and very often when you go to 12-step meetings, you hear a lot of people share about the fact that their life before recovery was hell. You know, many people wind up homeless, they wind up losing their families, they wind up losing all their belongings, they wind up on the street, they become physically ill. Life becomes quite horrible. And so that is hell. And there was someone that said that once they found another way of living, that the gates of hell opened up, not because of anything that they did, that someone else did, but because they did something to let themselves out of hell. Which means if we're living in an environment where we feel we're living in hell, the key to getting out of that hell is not some being up in the sky or not something that someone else does. It's our deciding that we're going to change whatever it is that we're thinking about, whatever it is that we're doing that is putting us in the hell. Last week we talked about the fact of cause and effect. It is the causes of what we do that give us the effect of hell here on earth. We are the only ones that can get us out of that hell. We have to decide that whatever has brought us there, in the case of someone who is an addict or an alcoholic, they have to decide to stop using those substances. They have to decide to get into some kind of form of recovery. That is the only way they get out of that hell that they're living in. But hell doesn't have to be anything that bad. I'm sure we all have things that happen in our life and we go, oh my God, that's like hell. And joking around this morning, I haven't been sleeping the last few nights, and I said, I'll tell you what hell is. Hell is 3 nights in a row of not sleeping. That's what hell is, you know, because that's the way you feel. or we've been looking to move out of our RV and into an apartment. And it's pretty hard for me to get around with my cast, and going from place to place, and nothing was working out was its own hell. So we're constantly having these incidences in our life where we are experiencing some kind of hell. But it's not something that happens after we die. You know, we don't wind up in that movie. Heaven also is a state of mind. How many times have you felt like you were living on heaven on earth? It could happen in a meditation. Sometimes you have this meditation and it is like just unbelievable. And it is truly feeling like you're experiencing heaven. Or something just works out so perfectly in your life that it's like heaven here on earth. So Robin Williams, when he dies, he goes to heaven. And this is what the movie depicts heaven to be.
It's real. Where's all the paint?
You don't need it anymore. This is your world now. Thought is real. Physical is the illusion. Ironic, huh?
So that's one kind of physical look of heaven. But like he is told, he says, well, everything the physical is not real. The only thing that's real is in our minds. Our minds is what causes all of the effect. So for me, when I saw that picture of heaven, I don't believe that there's a heaven like that. But I do, that feeling that you feel in that scene is certainly a feeling that I have felt when I have been in a situation where it truly felt like I was living in heaven right now. I mean, things just work out so perfectly and everything is so right. And, you're somewhere that's so beautiful that you can't even picture that a place like that existed. Heaven, like hell, is a state of mind. It's all in here. It's not someplace out there. And even when Jesus was trying to talk about heaven, he never said heaven is somewhere in the sky and when you die, you're going to go up there. Jesus said things like, the kingdom of God is near, meaning the kingdom of God is within us. It's not someplace up in the sky. And he said that he would compare it to a grain of mustard seed or treasure hidden in the field. He always made these comparisons trying to describe this feeling. If it was some place that he really believed was up in the sky with some guy who had a long white beard and a robe, he would have said to people, well, heaven, look up there. That's where heaven is, above those clouds. And hell, well, just dig a hole down there, and that's where hell is. He never said anything like that because he understood that heaven, God, all of that is stuff within us. So for me, I know the first time I had always wanted to go to Paris for years when I was younger. And the first time I went to Paris was in 1990. And I won a free trip. And I took my sons, and I was early in recovery. So there I was in this city that I had always wanted to be, feeling so good because, A, I could actually remember being there, and I could know what I was experiencing. And I remember walking around those streets just thinking, I've died and gone to heaven. This is heaven. This was just like a dream. The architect, the streets, the people. It was like this dream come true. But I can think of other times. I've had meditations where when I'm done, I feel like I've been in heaven. Or seeing people or being with people you love is a kind of heaven. Heaven is within us. When we realize that we bring about our own heaven and hell, then we realize that we have to decide what is what. The quest says heaven is a state of mind when you live in the awareness of God as a presence and a power in your life, when no matter what happens in the outer world, the real of you is unchanging, peace-filled, and expectant of good. Heaven will indeed be in the midst of you. Heaven will indeed be near. So with the whole idea of heaven and hell in traditional religion also comes this idea of judgment. Because if you have a heaven and a hell that you go to after life, somebody or something has to decide which one you're going to go to. But the quest says about the Judgment Day. Judgment Day takes place each time you set a cause into motion. If you are responsible for some wrong action of any kind, you are punished by the deed itself. Your own thoughts and deeds are continually setting up their results, their judgments, and are taking action for or against you. No one escapes the day of judgment because it is taking place every moment of our lives, and we are the one who make our own heaven and hell. So we have to give up this idea that there's some body somewhere deciding if we're good or if we're bad and sending us someplace after we die. I don't know what happens after we die, but I do know that my existence here on this plane is a direct result of where I am in my consciousness at any time. When I have a conscious contact with my higher power, that is heaven. And when I am separated from that higher power, I'm living in a hell because nothing goes right in my life. But when I connect with that higher power, everything goes right in my life. So we have to realize that it isn't what we believe as far as religion goes that determines whether we live in heaven and hell. It is what we do. It is how we are in this world. It is how we are conscious of something other than ourselves in this existence. And when we have that conscious contact, we experience heaven. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute and take a few deep breaths. And I want you to picture in your mind a time in your life where you were somewhere doing something and you truly thought, this is heaven. It was so perfect, so beautiful, so peaceful. Remember thinking, if this could just go on forever. But whether we're experiencing that kind of heaven here, or whether we're going through some kind of hell, every day is Judgment Day. Every day we decide, are we going to have heaven or hell? Are we going to live a life knowing that we are part of something greater than ourselves and connecting with that? Or are we going to see ourselves as separate, alone, a victim of the outside world? Heaven is freedom. It's the freedom to know that the outside stuff is not real. What is real is within us. And we decide every day what the reality is going to be. There's no one to blame. There's no one to point fingers at. There's no prayer we have to say. No church we have to go to have heaven. And just like we talked about last week, there's nothing bad that we can do that will force us into an eternal hell. At any time, we determine our lives. We determine whether we are living in heaven and hell. All that is real is what is within us. God is not up there, and there is no devil down there. Every day, if we ask ourselves, do I want to live in hell or in heaven? Knowing that the only person that has the key from one to the other is us. We choose. We decide. And if we choose incorrectly, all we have to do is just choose again. So I ask you, are you living in hell or heaven? And what are you going to do about it? And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Bill. That was beautiful. And thank you, Arlene, reminding us I choose to live in heaven. I'm right here at Unity. That says it all. Unity believes in 5 basic principles. So the first one is God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. 2, I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. 3, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. And 5, I do and give my best by living the truth that I know I make a difference. And we also believe in the principle of giving and receiving. And here at Unity of Orange County, we have several ways that you can give. And one, of course, is mailing your check. Those are always appreciated. You can always go to our webpage at Unity of Orange County at .org and go to donate, and you can have an ongoing donation or a one-time donation. You can text to 77977 and in the message, put Unity of Orange County donate. All your donations are welcome because we just love this ministry and we would love to keep it going, of course. So if you have your donation in hand that you're trying to get it together, let's bless our donations now. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we would like to have our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you again so much, and we will see you next week. Don't forget, it's our reopening, and we're so excited we'll be able to see you then. Have a great week.